Hey, thanks again for joining us on The Monitor this week. Every year, hundreds and thousands of people flock to the Georgia National Fairgrounds in Perry to enjoy not only the good food, but the fun rides. But for others, the fair is a time to showcase all the hard work they put into raising livestock. The Monitor's Mark Wildman brings us a report from the many livestock arenas at the Georgia National Fair.
The 2010 Georgia National Fair not only brings thrill seekers to Middle Georgia, but it is also a time that students get to compete with their livestock on several of the Agri Center's big stages. In the Livestock Equine Arena, 4-H students from around the Southeast were invited to compete.
The invitational is open to not only just Georgia junior exhibitors, but also we invited North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida.
The event brought some of the best competitors around to Perry, and the judging was very difficult during this showmanship competition.
Showmanship is one of the hardest things that a judge actually judges. Most judges, if you ask them, they'd much rather judge a weight or a breed class any day because those are very objective. Whereas when you get in showmanship with these kids that have been working this calf so much, it's very hard to be critical of the students when they all have their calves walking into place. And today this judge is actually working them a little bit harder in showmanship. He's kind of making them go and then stop and go and stop. And so it's very good for the kids to have that training because he can see who's actually been working at home and not the kids that just walk into the show ring and have a kid, somebody hand them a calf.
Over in the New South Arena, it's not cattle, but hogs. And although this may look like chaos behind me, trust me, these students know what they're doing.
It is somewhat of a controlled chaos because like with sheep and cows and goats, you're holding on to the animal literally either by hand or with a halter, where with the hogs, you're leading them around with a small show stick. And that stick is really just meant as a guide, and the goal is actually to not even touch the pig and to get them to move around just by putting the stick on one side or the other, moving that pig around to the area where the judge can best view that pig and present that pig to the best that it can be judged. There's breeding gilts here that are purebred breeding gilts, as well as the commercial breeding gilts, and then we have the market hogs, which we separate and show separately, bears and gilts. And this is kind of the big one for the fall.
Students work hard all year long to get to this point, and being able to compete in a top-notch arena is a thrill.
We have such a nice facility here in Perry. When we host some of the junior national shows here, like the Junior National Angus show was hosted here a couple years ago, people come in from other parts of the United States and just talk about what a nice facility. I mean, that's one of the top things, I think, in my opinion, that comes in. And then to be able to let our kids compete against kids from other states without actually having to travel outside of Georgia, that's such a great opportunity. And to be able to come and show an arena like this that makes them feel like, you know, they're going to the Super Bowl, kind of, so to speak, or their state playoffs.
During the fair, all of the Agri Center's arenas are going full tilt. And while the 4-H shows are going on, other events are taking place as well, like this draft horse show. Keeping the ag facilities busy not only brings in revenue to Georgia, but it also keeps agriculture growing by giving students and adults a place to showcase all of their hard work. In Perry, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.